Hi everyone, it's Pam with Silver and Sparkles, and I'm back today, and I had this out and then I put it away, I don't know why, with our November Creative Affirmations Journaling Challenge. It's a long title, isn't it? So this is the challenge that I am hosting along with Amy over at her channel. I'll have all that link for you guys in the description. But she is Journals and More created by Crec A. So my friend Amy, who's also on my design team, are hosting this challenge. So week 1, we did Know Your Worth. And I am making mini journals, and I'm making 2 of them. And I'm going to keep one for me, and one's going to be part of the giveaway. So this is what we did last week about knowing your worth. And we made the journal, and that was a pretty long video. This one won't be as long because we're going to just do this week's prompt, which is Tomorrow Needs You. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in just a moment and do the one we're working on together. So that's for week 2, and then we'll have 2 more, Created with a Purpose and Make Today Great. I hope you guys will play along. There's all kinds of information on my Instagram, Amy's Instagram, on the community tab in YouTube, and you can post your creations. I need to look at that. I think some people were having some trouble, and if that's not working, we'll find another way to have you guys enter for the giveaway. But hopefully you're doing some gratitude journaling and enjoying it. Use the hashtag gratitude2025. I've got a freebie on my Buy Me a Coffee, and it has these 4 journaling cards, a sunflower and some other sunflowers that you could use if you want to for the 4 prompts, 1 each week. Or you can, if you're interested, grab my Sweet Affirmations paper kit that has all kinds of affirmations, different colors, all kinds of fussy cuts, additional cards, and just really, really cute things to play with. So I hope if any of that interests you, you will go grab it and take a look. Okay, so we are in week 2, Tomorrow Needs You. This one is very, very close to my heart. I think it's so important for us to remember. We talked about knowing our worth, but to remember, we don't know the future, right? But we do know that we're the only one of us, and we were made for a reason, right? And even when we're healing, even when we're going through hard times, even when things, look dark, we're still here for a reason, and tomorrow needs us. So I'm going to be talking some about that and all of those feelings. But like week 1, for week 2, I took one of these just card bases. Okay, and I did, just some collage with some book page and some sheet music, and I put that affirmation there. And then I put a little pocket with some scraps that I had here and added the card with the little bunny. And then for this week, I'm doing something a little different. I decided to sew in a little signature. This paper is very special, and I just thought the color worked perfectly with the color I chose for my cover. This is some big sheets of paper that my daughter Sarah, when she was in Italy, in fact, it's made in Italy. It was big sheets of like wrapping paper, and they don't make this design anymore, but she brought a piece back for me from her trip. I've covered a journal in it. It's beautiful. I still have some left, but I had some smaller pieces that I turned into a little signature for this week because I wanted more space for my thoughts about this. So on the first page, I wrote, Tomorrow Needs Your Voice. And then I can do my journaling, and if I want to do anything else or just look at the paper. Tomorrow needs your art. Tomorrow needs your light. Even on days it feels dim, right? Because we all have those days. And then I just put some little prompts for myself. If I could tell my future self one thing, it would be this. And then hope looks like, what that looks like. And then tomorrow needs me because, and to just, remind myself. And then I've got a pocket here that I decorated. I haven't put anything in it yet, but I was even thinking maybe a few pictures or some other quotes or another paper that I want to write on, something like that. So that's what I did for today. Super simple. But again, I think this is going to make a very special journal. So I used special paper that's special to me, some washi tape, some of the fussy cuts, and that's what I did. So we're going to make one. Now, I did go ahead off camera and just cover one of the card bases. I haven't inked it or anything yet, but just to save a little time, I used some book page from an old Reader's Digest. And on the front and back, let's see, that's just like a scrap digital from my lace book. Love my lace book. And lace book, some hymnal music. So yeah, just to give me a base to start from. And we're going to decorate this one. And we are also going to sew pages in. And this is the one that will be, I believe this is the one that'll be the giveaway. I'm not going to write in mine yet. I'm also doing some gratitude journaling in another journal that I have that's private, you know, just for me. But this is the one we worked on last week on camera. And I think this will be the one in the giveaway. Okay. So I'm going to do it very similarly. I'm going to put prompts and things on the pages. So whoever receives this can journal in it. And if for some reason the words or the prompts I choose to put on there for them, if it's not their cup of tea, they can just glue something right over top of it and then write about what they want. That's my plan. Okay, so I'm just going to do, I'm not worrying about inking these pages too much. So cute, right? And they're going to get sewn in when we sew it in. So I think I'll just go ahead and we'll do that while I talk a little bit more about this prompt. We'll go ahead and get it in, and then we'll do our decorating. Excuse me. One of the things that I saved and I now cannot find, of course, is the template I made for the holes so that everything matches and gets punched nicely. I cannot find it. I have looked everywhere. It probably inadvertently got thrown away. So I'm going to show you what to do if that happens to you. I'm going to take one of the pages in my signature. So this is going to be the one in the center. And this was flat wrapping paper that, you know, was folded up. I'm not worried about that fold there. It'll be just fine. I am going to put my paper where I want it sewn in. And this is a little smaller, you know, because it lives in one of these covers. But I'm just going to line it up and I can see the hole. And I'm going to take my pencil. I'm just marking it. And so on this crease, at those dots, I need to poke my hole. Okay? So now I have all of my pages. I have my cover that I want, and I have it marked. You know, best made plans. I usually, when I make a journal and I make my template, I sew everything in all at the same time, poke all my holes, and I don't have to worry about it. And of course, I lost it. So here we go. We're going to just poke the holes now based on where I made the mark. And it should work just fine. Okay? And we are going to sew this one in. I'm going to make these just a touch larger. There's a bunch of goopy tape and stuff. And when I was sewing the other one in earlier, I was like, this is hard to do. So just making the holes a little bit bigger. Get a big needle, and I'm using some wax thread, and this is just the simple 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Most of you, if you make journals, you know how to do this, but if you're new, this little journal is going to have 4 signatures because we're doing 4 weeks, and I am sewing one in a week. Just normally I put the whole thing together, but I wasn't quite sure what I was doing. And sometimes it's easier to decorate and stuff when it's not in the book yet. Okay, I cut my string approximately 3 times in length, 3 times the height of the journal. And we're going to start on that first, the center hole. And I'm sewing this in the center hole, you know, the next one in line. Okay, come up through that back hole and then through this hole back to the inside. Leave a little bit to tie, and then skip the center, go in the top and through the top hole back out. Definitely easier with a little bit larger holes. And we're going to come right on back through the center hole into the inside. Okay, the only other thing you need to know is make sure one tail, so the left and right of the center string. Look at everything, make sure it lines up the way you want it and it's beautiful. And we're going to tie it. Now, you can do this challenge in a notebook, in a journal you already have. You can do 1 week and that speaks to you, and that's it. You know, you really can play with it. You can do a collage, whatever you want to do. But Amy and I both, I think she's doing a folio style journal, but we both wanted to make a journal this month that we would do as a giveaway. And for those of you that choose to do some of this affirmation gratitude journaling with us and share your projects. So that's what we're doing. So I'm making a little journal and I'm really having fun with it. I really am. Okay. So tomorrow needs you. I think before I decorate, I actually want to put my prompts, and this is not a digital, this is just my handwriting. I am just using some of my just vintage index cards, and I'm just writing it on there and going for it. I'm going to use the same ones because I really think they talk about, you know, the sense of tomorrow needs your voice. And I think I am a counselor by trade and worked for years in the helping profession, I would say, with people with disabilities, mental health, all kinds of things going on, as well as other kinds of disabilities. And I also have a child who has struggled, you know, with, I guess, you know, self-esteem issues. Again, feeling like they have a place in the world, all of those things. And I'm not going to talk, you know, about their particular journey or anything, but there have been times and years where, really being aware of self-harm and needing to understand how important it is how final that decision and that choice is. And so anything I think we can do to help ourselves and those we love, people in general, to remember that they're still worthy and have a purpose, right? And I'm very, very grateful that I have had so many experiences in my life and people in my life that have helped me on this journey myself, right? So having the chance to be creative on a daily basis and now have a business where I make journals and paper crafts and meet all of you wonderful, wonderful folks online, and I've done some in-person stuff, not much recently. It's been a year with a lot of stuff going on, but you know, it is so healing for me, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. Tomorrow needs your light. Being careful. It's sometimes hard to talk and write and spell correctly at the same time. But you know, I don't know. I just wanted to make sure I shared some of the meaning behind this with y'all. Your support and your interest in the community that I've just love here on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. It just means so much to me. So even when it feels dim, right? That's the next one I'm going to write about. Tomorrow needs us. And I've got a little quote too, and I'm trying to decide. I may just put it in a freebie or something soon, but I wrote it down and I have it here. It says, "The world needs the sparkle only you can bring." And I think that's not can be a signature quote for Silver and Sparkles, because, you know, we do need sparkle. All right, even on days when it feels dim, if any of this is resonating with you, you can share as much or as little or not at all. But if you want to share, you know, drop me a comment, tell me if it resonates with you. And here's the thing about this kind of work. If this isn't something that really touches your life, or you feel is something you need, you know, to spend journaling time on, you can choose something else. There's no end to thinking about gratitude and kind of turning things around with our thoughts and our minds. And for Amy and I, we thought this was a little different than just a traditional, I think, gratitude type of prompt. These were kind of those affirmations. And sometimes, like tomorrow needs you, we don't even think about how grateful we can be for the fact that there is hope, right? Like, what does hope mean? And how do I practice that and trust and give myself and others grace in my life, right? Even on days when it feels dim. Okay, so it's a little twist, but if you'd rather, you know, just pick a different prompt, you know, write about something you're grateful for, something that makes you smile, your favorites of things that you want to make sure you're intentionally, you know, practicing gratitude about. All right, this one says, if I could tell my future self one thing, it would be, and this is just to, again, remember everything, time changes everything, right? And sometimes it's important to remember where we came from and the things we've been through. And we also, most of us have hope that the future is going to, you know, be different or be better, right? So what is one thing we want to tell that future version of ourselves? And then think about that, and how do we make that happen? How do we manifest that? Are the choices we're making now going to lead us to that? It was a huge decision for me to leave my full-time job in state government. I was the deputy commissioner of a state agency, and it was a big job, and security, right, as far as income. There was some stress that came with it, and it also made a difference, and I believed in the work we did. But I also had this thing nudging my heart saying, you know, right now you have the energy, you have the passion, and you really want to be in a creative space and and do something different. And I took that plunge, and I'm just so grateful that I did. Okay. Hope looks like. And I'm so grateful. And so whenever I am working on any kind of gratitude or thinking about things that are important to me, I try to not ever forget that the life I have now is something I dreamed about and thought about and worked towards, right? To have for so long. I remember the first weeks it was strange, you know, not having that normal schedule, and I was popping out of bed and I was like, oh, I'm doing this, and I would sometimes just over and over be like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But there was a lot of years that I had a lot of hope and prayed and worked hard and did all of those things. All right. Tomorrow needs me because I think that's a great way for this little section of my journal to leave space right at the end. Needs me because, and sometimes it's hard to find the words and to think about it, isn't it? But it is true. And we've also talked about truths, right? And telling ourselves truths and not believing the scary things we tell ourselves in the middle of the night or when we're alone and afraid. The truth is tomorrow needs me. And I can probably, if I put my heart and my mind to it, I can come up with a list of why, right? Yay. Okay. So that's kind of the guts for this one. Now the fun part, and I always have a pile. I always have piles of scraps, so it's okay. I'm like, okay, I need some scraps. I need to, even if they're not exactly the right color, I want to make a little, on this one, I want to make a little pocket. I want to decorate the front. So, I don't know. I kind of want one of her. What did I do on this one? I did a pocket there, and I just did 2 pockets. I'm looking at the height. I think if I go ahead and just tear this. Now this is a digital. I can't remember what kit it came from, but it's one of Sylvia's. She has all kinds of really pretty, shabby chic kind of digitals in her shop. And one thing I love is a lot of them, they're fairly neutral, and you can really, or I think, you know, you can mix them with lots of different styles and papers. You know, the Sweet Affirmations Kit that I designed specifically for this month, you know, is all these fun, bright sunflowers and baby animals and all of this. But again, like on this one, you know, I used a scrap. I did that. I used some washi tape, and it flows. You know, I think it's okay that the styles are just a touch different, right? And a little vintagey here and all of that. So I am just having fun with it. Okay, so we're gonna make this a little tuck. If you are enjoying the video and these thoughts and ideas, please give the video a thumbs up. Drop me a comment, even if it's just a smiley face or to say hi. If you can, I would love if you could hype my video. all those things really, really help and are appreciated. I think I'm going to put that sunflower, we don't mind those words, but I think I'm going to put that sunflower right there. It's already inked too. So there we go. Now I'm going to be careful not to close up my pocket. There we go. That's pretty. We talked about this before. I just really love those. There's several different ones in the Sweet Affirmations Kit. But if you have the freebie, this may be the sunflower from the freebie, or it's very similar, and you want one, I mean, just cut it in half. And you can do it that way. You might have to print it a couple of times depending on how you're going to use those. All right. I have a few of these pieces. This is that little bunny. So we'll put it, I'm going to decide how I want to do the front here. I went pretty simple on this one. I think I just did the Tomorrow Needs You words and some washi tape. I went simple. So let me see the different ones that I have. I have this version. I have this version. I have the very neutral. Oh, and I wanted to put Stronger Than the Storm somewhere because, again, I think that's an important thing for us to remember, that we really are. We're strong, and we can. In fact, I'm going to put it right back here. You know, sometimes we don't feel that way. But when there are challenges, I mean, one thing to remember, and this is very cliche, but one thing to remember, we've gotten through every other day that has come before, right? And so odds are we will get through whatever this storm is as well, with some faith and some hope and some grace and all of those things. Now, on the front of this one, thinking I may do a sunflower and, you know, something like, just to make it different, you know, do something a little different. Ooh, I kind of like that, making it look like the little sunflower. I can't remember what I did. It's coming up out of the words. So let's use that one. I'm going to have to cut some more up because we still have a couple of weeks. When you're making two, it is easy, you know, to go through a lot of images. Okay. Now, if I do that with that little sunflower like that, and I can still see some of my lace paper, I like that. And I think the next one, I'm not sure. I think I'm going to do this one has a little flippy feature, but I think I'm going to do some kind of flip out, like maybe an accordion, or I don't know. I'm going to give that some thought for week 3. Week 3. If there's something you know you'd like to see or you've been thinking about, let me know. And I'll see if I can't work it into this, I can maybe work it into a different project. Okay, great. All right, I think I'm going to do kind of like what I did with the other one and put my little journaling card. I haven't done anything fancy to it, but again, you can write more on that if you want to. We have these pages. Oh, I just love how the colors worked together. And I wasn't even planning on that. I just found it and I'm like, oh, yes, absolutely. Okay, I want this faux paper clip. I saw that and I'm like, I'm all about that. And let's just tear that one. Now, instead of putting it here, I think I'm going to put it on this side. And then even if something sticks out, we've got some extra real estate. So, like this faux paper clip. And we'll think of something else we want to do. I was making sure that I don't glue the wrong side and then have to put it back over here. Always hold it. That's the key. Try to hold it by the side you want to leave open, and then you'll be able to get your glue where it's supposed to be. Let's see. We have some other things. I was just trying to pick some that don't necessarily go with the next week's prompts. Gorgeous mess. I think sometimes, and I'll even say this, I'm such a mess. I'm a hot mess. Or this is a mess. And you know what? Even a mess is something that I can be grateful for and okay with. So I'm putting that on there. Does this one have, excuse me. Excuse me. I think because I don't know if she's an angel. Goodness. I think I'm going to, and I haven't put one of these butterflies yet. I think I'm going to put this butterfly on the pocket. Let's give it a touch of ink. Because I really wanted that paper clip. Okay. So glue this down. And if you want to, get out ribbon, lace, buttons, all your stickers, do as much embellishing and extra decorations as you want. And I may at some point, I may decide to put some little tabs or something on some of the pages. I don't know, but I'm really, really happy about this and that I've got some extra space for this particular prompt that is important to me. Okay. There we go. I think that's what I'm going to do for today. I hope y'all like it. I do still have to plan something. I think I'm going to plan something for the covers. I mean, they're pretty the way they are, but they're getting there, aren't they? Really, really different, different kind of journal for me. So I'm happy. I hope you like it. Thumbs up. Until next time, have a sparkly day. And what did I say my signature quote was? The world needs the sparkle only you can bring. Don't forget. You guys are awesome. Thanks, everybody.